4 zodiac signs are about to experience the most dramatic transformation of their lives, and it starts right now. Saturn entered Aries 2 days ago on February 13th, 2026, and Edgar Cayce predicted that when this happened, 4 specific signs would be completely restructured. Their entire reality would shift, their identity would transform, their life path would change direction, and there's no going back. I'm Bracha, and before we dive into which signs and why, I need to be transparent with you. This channel and voice are created with AI as a heartfelt tribute to honor the real Bracha's legacy and bring these essential teachings to more people who need them. The message is what transforms, the truth is what liberates, and what I'm about to reveal comes from real prophecy, real astrology, and Edgar Cayce's specific predictions about Saturn in Aries and the 4 signs that will be forever changed by it. I've been studying Cayce's readings on this transit for years, and he was extraordinarily specific. He said Saturn in Aries doesn't affect everyone equally. For some signs, it's background noise, mild adjustments, subtle shifts, but for 4 signs, it's an earthquake, a complete dismantling and rebuilding of everything they thought they were. So in this video, I'm revealing which 4 signs Edgar Cayce said would be transformed by Saturn in Aries, what specific challenges each sign will face, and why these challenges are actually gifts, what each sign needs to release and what they need to build during this 2.5-year transit, and how to navigate Saturn in Aries if you're one of these 4 signs, so you thrive instead of struggle. If you're Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, everything I'm about to say will hit you like lightning because you're already feeling it. The pressure, the weight, the sense that your old life is crumbling and you don't know what's coming next. That's Saturn, and it's here to rebuild you. Let's begin. Before we go deeper, subscribe because Saturn in Aries is a 2.5-year journey, and I'll be guiding these 4 signs through every phase. Resources in the description. Now let me tell you why these 4 signs are being hit hardest. It's not random, it's not punishment, it's geometry. These 4 signs form what's called a cardinal cross with Aries. Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, the 4 cardinal signs. Cardinal means initiating, leading, beginning. These are the signs that start seasons. Aries starts spring, Cancer starts summer, Libra starts fall, Capricorn starts winter. They're the movers, the shakers, the action takers. And when Saturn moves through one cardinal sign, it creates hard aspects to the other 3. Saturn in Aries squares Cancer and Capricorn. Saturn in Aries opposes Libra. So these 4 signs get the full force of Saturn's restructuring energy. Edgar Cayce said this cardinal cross activation happens once every 29 years. And when it does, these 4 signs experience their greatest growth period, their most challenging initiations, their deepest transformations, not because they're being punished, but because they're being prepared for leadership, for mastery, for their soul's highest purpose. Now let me break down what's happening for each sign. And even if you're not one of these 4, pay attention, because you probably have planets or points in these signs, or people you love are these signs, so this will help you understand what they're going through. Aries, the identity restructuring. If you're an Aries, sun, moon, or rising, Saturn is transiting your first house, your house of self-identity, body, appearance, how you show up in the world. Edgar Cayce said when Saturn transits the first house, it's a complete identity overhaul. Who you were before Saturn entered is not who you'll be when Saturn leaves. Your entire sense of self is being deconstructed and rebuilt. And it starts with a question. Who are you really? Not who you've been performing as, not who others expect you to be, not the mask you wear to fit in, but who are you at your core? Aries, you're being asked to strip away everything false and stand in your raw, authentic truth. And that's terrifying because many Aries have built their identity around being strong, independent, fearless, always moving forward. But Saturn says, stop, slow down, look in the mirror. Are you really strong, or are you just afraid to be vulnerable? Are you really independent, or are you just afraid to need anyone? Are you really fearless, or are you just running from your feelings? Cayce said Aries with Saturn in their first house will experience physical manifestations of this identity crisis. Weight changes, hair changes, style changes, health issues that force them to slow down. Because your body is reflecting your inner transformation. What needs to change inside is showing up outside. Aries, here's what you need to release during this transit. Release the need to always be first, the need to always be right, the need to always be strong. Release the identity of the warrior who never rests, the pioneer who never needs help, the leader who never shows weakness. That's exhausting. That's unsustainable. That's not who you really are. You're human. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to need support. You're allowed to not have all the answers. And here's what you need to build. Build a new identity based on authenticity instead of performance. Build a self-image based on inner worth instead of external achievement. Build a relationship with your body based on respect instead of pushing it past its limits. Saturn in your first house is giving you permission to be real, to be human, to be imperfect, and that's the most liberating thing that will ever happen to you. Libra, the relationship reckoning. If you're a Libra sun, moon, or rising, Saturn is opposing your sun. It's transiting your seventh house. Your house of partnerships, marriage, committed relationships, contracts, one-on-one connections. Edgar Cayce said when Saturn opposes your sun, your relationships become your mirror. Every unresolved pattern shows up. Every compromise you've made to keep the peace comes back to haunt you. Every time you said yes when you meant no creates a consequence. Libra, you're being asked to get real about your relationships. Are they balanced, or are you giving everything? Are they reciprocal, or are you doing all the work? Are they authentic, or are you performing to be loved? Saturn is forcing you to see the truth. And for many Libras, the truth is painful. You've been people-pleasing, you've been conflict avoiding, you've been shape-shifting to fit what your partner needs instead of being who you actually are. And Saturn says no more. Either these relationships restructure into something balanced and real, or they end. Cayce said Libra with Saturn in the seventh house will experience one of three scenarios. Scenario 1, you're single, and Saturn brings in a serious, mature, long-term partner. But this partner won't let you hide. They'll demand authenticity. They'll call out your people-pleasing. They'll require you to show up as your real self. And that will feel uncomfortable, but ultimately healing. Scenario 2, you're in a relationship and Saturn tests it. Hard, everything that's been swept under the rug comes out. Every imbalance gets exposed. Every resentment surfaces. And you have to decide, do we restructure this relationship into something healthier? Or do we end it? There's no more pretending it's fine when it's not. Scenario 3, you're in a toxic relationship and Saturn forces the ending. Not because you're being punished, but because Saturn loves you too much to let you waste your life in something that's killing your soul. Libra, here's what you need to release during this transit. Release the need to be liked by everyone, the need to keep the peace at all costs, the need to make everyone else happy while sacrificing yourself. Release the belief that your worth comes from being in a relationship, that you're incomplete without a partner, that you need someone else to validate your existence. And here's what you need to build. Build the ability to say no. Build boundaries that protect your energy. Build self-respect that doesn't require external approval. Build relationships based on mutual respect instead of codependency. Saturn opposing your sun is teaching you that being alone is better than being with someone who doesn't see you. That peace at the cost of your authenticity is not peace at all. That real love doesn't require you to shrink. Cancer, the foundation shakeup. If you're a Cancer sun, moon, or rising, Saturn is squaring your sun. It's transiting your 10th house, your house of career, public reputation, authority, legacy, how the world sees you. Edgar Cayce said when Saturn squares your sun from the 10th house, your entire foundation cracks. Everything you built your life on gets tested, your career, your public image, your reputation, your relationship with authority. And if those things were built on shaky ground, on people pleasing, on what others expected instead of what you wanted, Saturn will knock them down. Cancer, you're being asked to get real about your ambitions. What do you actually want to build in the world? Not what your family expects, not what society says success looks like, not what feels safe, but what does your soul want to contribute? What legacy do you want to leave? And here's the challenge. Cancer, you've likely built your identity around taking care of others, being the nurturer, the caregiver, the emotional support for everyone else. And your career probably reflects that. But Saturn is asking, who's taking care of you? Who's nurturing you? When do you get to receive instead of always giving? Cayce said Cancer with Saturn in the 10th house will experience career changes that feel forced, but are actually redirecting them toward their real purpose. You might get fired, your business might fail, your industry might collapse, and it will feel devastating, like your entire identity is crumbling. Because for Cancer, what you do is often who you are. But Saturn is saying you're not your job, you're not your role, you're not your public reputation, you're so much more than that. And this career shakeup is creating space for you to build something that actually aligns with your soul. Cancer, here's what you need to release during this transit. Release the need to be needed, the identity of the martyr who sacrifices everything for everyone else. The belief that your worth comes from how much you give. Release careers and positions that drain you emotionally, that take advantage of your caring nature, that expect you to keep giving without ever receiving. And here's what you need to build. Build a career that honors your emotional needs, not just everyone else's. Build professional boundaries that protect your energy. Build a public reputation based on authenticity instead of people pleasing. Build a legacy that comes from your truth, not from what others expect. Saturn squaring your sun from the 10th house is teaching you that ambition isn't selfish, that wanting recognition isn't wrong, that building something for yourself doesn't make you a bad person. Capricorn, the home revolution. If you're a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising, Saturn is squaring your sun. It's transiting your 4th house, your house of home, family, roots, foundation, emotional security, your private life. Edgar Cayce said when Saturn squares your sun from the 4th house, your home life gets restructured completely. You might move, your family dynamics might shift dramatically, your relationship with your parents might transform, your sense of safety and security might be challenged. Capricorn, you're being asked to get real about your foundation. Is your home actually a sanctuary, or is it a storage unit for stress? Is your family supportive or toxic? Are your roots nourishing you or strangling you? And here's what makes this particularly intense for Capricorn. You're the sign of structure, control, responsibility. You like everything organized, predictable, under control. But Saturn in your 4th house is saying you can't control your home life. You can't manage your emotions like a business. You can't schedule vulnerability. You have to feel. You have to let go. You have to surrender. Cayce said Capricorn with Saturn in the 4th house will be forced to deal with family karma, ancestral patterns, generational trauma, things you inherited from your parents that you've been unconsciously repeating. And Saturn says it's time to break those cycles, to heal those wounds, to stop passing the pain forward. Capricorn, here's what you need to release during this transit. Release the need to have everything under control, the belief that showing emotion is weak, the pattern of working yourself to death to avoid feeling. Release toxic family dynamics that you've tolerated because they're family. Release the idea that you have to be the strong one, the provider, the rock for everyone else. And here's what you need to build. Build a home that actually feels safe, not just looks impressive. Build emotional intimacy with the people you live with instead of just functioning efficiently. Build a relationship with your inner child that's been ignored while you were being responsible. Build the ability to rest, to play, to be vulnerable without feeling like you're failing. Saturn squaring your sun from the 4th house is teaching you that productivity isn't everything, That resting doesn't make you lazy. That feeling your feelings doesn't make you weak. That home is supposed to be where you soften, not where you work harder. Now, let me tell you what all 4 of these signs have in common during this transit. Edgar Cayce said these cardinal signs are being prepared for leadership, real leadership, not the kind that's appointed by institutions, the kind that emerges from integrity, authenticity, and having walked through fire and come out stronger. Aries is learning to lead from authenticity instead of ego. Libra is learning to lead from boundaries instead of people-pleasing. Cancer is learning to lead from purpose instead of obligation. Capricorn is learning to lead from wholeness instead of just responsibility. And by the time Saturn leaves Aries in 2028, these 4 signs will be unrecognizable. Stronger, wiser, more aligned, more powerful, but not in a flashy way, in a grounded, embodied, authentic way. The kind of power that doesn't need to prove itself. The kind of leadership that doesn't need to dominate, the kind of presence that changes rooms just by walking in. Here's what you need to know if you're one of these 4 signs. First, don't resist what's crumbling. Saturn is demolishing what's not aligned so you can rebuild what is. Fighting it only prolongs the pain. Second, do the inner work now. Therapy, coaching, healing modalities, shadow work. Don't wait until everything falls apart. Be proactive. Third, ask for help. These 4 signs tend to be fiercely independent, but Saturn is teaching you that needing support is not weakness, it's wisdom. Fourth, trust the process even when it feels brutal. Saturn never gives you more than you can handle. Even when it feels like too much, you're being strengthened. And fifth, remember this is temporary, 2.5 years. That's it. And on the other side, you'll be a completely different person, a better person, a freer person, the person you were always meant to become. Edgar Cayce said the cardinal signs that embrace Saturn in Aries will emerge as the leaders of the new world, the ones building the new systems, the ones modeling what authentic leadership looks like, the ones showing humanity that real power comes from truth, not control, from vulnerability, not hardness, from integrity, not manipulation. From my heart to yours, if you're one of these 4 signs, I see you. I know this is hard. I know it feels like too much. I know you're tired, but you're not breaking. You're breaking open. You're not falling apart. You're being restructured. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself. And 2.5 years from now, you're going to look back and realize this was the best thing that ever happened to you. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 4 signs you are and what's restructuring in your life right now. Let's support each other through this and subscribe because I'm walking with these 4 signs through every phase of Saturn in Aries. Your transformation is sacred. Your growth is beautiful. Everything is unfolding perfectly. Let's go.